That's our official hello to everyone. And congratulations to everyone for working so hard and putting up with the dates and the deadlines and the specifications for labeling files and everything that goes into it, because they're all little tasks, but they add up, and everyone has a busy life with their work and their families and friends and activities and health issues. And it's just really wonderful that everyone has come together to do this, because it really has a different value when everyone has, worked together and participated for this. So congratulations to everyone, and thank you. And of course, incredible, gratitude to Elizabeth and Carol.
Also,
I also think, Kim has kept her head so level with all of the checks and the ins and outs and the bookkeeping and everyone, being pulled along. But I have to say that in this particular volume, more than in any other, the amount of work that went into it was really extraordinary. If for some reason, these extra tasks of sending out pages to everyone and having everyone, that extra interaction has really been very demanding on Carol and Elizabeth. And I just want to express the deepest appreciation for their patience, because, we try to make this happen when everyone works as one. But working with all the individuals separately really makes the project much more complex. And so I think that you'll probably agree with me that this is an extraordinary labor of love of these two extraordinary women. Thank you.
yes.
Well, borrowing Elizabeth's expression, thank you, Jan, for driving the bus. You drove
I really
yeah, fast.
think
Cracking whip.
Jan is Wonder
Exactly.
Woman.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And because of that, you won't be surprised when the very next thing to come out of my mouth is please send me emails with your thoughts and people that you put forward for writing the next essay for the aughts. We want to do this quickly. We want to have, your ideas, input, and then response, in the way we come to some consensus for this next volume. And also, it's the drill. It's having your essay for the aughts, having your photograph for the aughts, and having a selected image plus an additional 4 images. So we have 5 images so that we can present all of this material to our prospective writer. And we've all been here before. Not least on this list is to send a check to Kim. So we know that we're in good standing and can pay our little honorarium to our writer. And I think that all of that information will then be in an email that I'll send out after our meeting.
And when's the deadline, Jan?
And the deadline is going to be June 30th.
Yeah.
It's really important, I think, to be able to, and that's the deadline for all the materials. I'd like the writer decided earlier, because summer seems to be a better time in people's calendars to be able to take on a project like this. So in the past, we were only able to do this with Maria Porges and with Barbara Morris because it fell after teaching and before teaching resumed. And that was a period of time in which they could do this project. So it'd be great if we had all the materials to send to everyone the end of June so that they have the summer to work with this. It'd be great to be able to find a consensus for a writer soon, very soon. Yeah, Mary.
Is there a way to send out what the writer has written before it gets put into the InDesign format, so that a lot of the copy gets approved before it's been laid out?
Okay, we have to talk about this also, and that is that when we commission someone to write, and this is true across the industry, it's not just us, you know, in our conversation, but other than correcting dates and facts, essentially anything that is what come under critical, aesthetic, language, poetry, any of that is really the writer's prerogative, and we cannot change their language and their writing, and that is an understood. So it's the same thing as a curator. I can write my wall labels. The only thing that can be changed would be dates, dimensions, materials, provenance, anything factual. So this is a very difficult area in terms of asking a writer to change what they've written. And we really, we had, you know, we, as you know, Mary, we went through a lot, but it's not a standard and it's not something we can expect. We can't decide how a critic or an historian or a scholar is going to view the work.
Well, I guess, I don't know if anybody else had the experience. I felt that her sentence about me was inaccurate and wrong. So I did make a complaint. So
I understand. I'm just saying, moving forward, we have to recognize that there are certain things in terms of having a writer and essentially asking them to write for us.
but I think there could be something in the contract where, I mean, clearly she hadn't looked at my work. So,
Well, you know, the same thing happened to me, but I did receive a preview of the sentence that included me.
Yep.
And in it, she said that I had studied at Fiberworks, which was not true.
right.
And so I just wrote back and said she could say I was associated with Fiberworks. I actually taught there, but it was very important for me not to be listed as a student,
Right.
you know, but to be credited as a teacher.
Yeah.
And to be part of the community. I wanted to be associated with it, but so that error was corrected, which I really appreciated.
Great.
So
That's
I guess
fact-checking.
somehow, Mary, you didn't get the preview with your sentence in it.
No, I did. And I
Oh.
requested a correction. So I just think that in the contract, there needs to be a little bit about this. We are paying this person, even though they are, it's not like, you know, this is a luxury publication that we're paying for ourselves. So I do think it would be useful to have a little bit of ability to at least do what we did this last month. So
I think actually that what we're trying to look for is an historical document, and we are making a distinction between fact checking and facts and those kinds of corrections and altering someone's response to our work. And
well, he said that I only made one specific kind of work in the 80s, and that was wrong. So, you know, I corrected it. It was fine. But I do think that it needs to be a kind of given for whoever decides to write for us, that they have to be open to that kind of correction.
they are open to fact checking, and
Yeah.
and we did that and gave everyone their copy. And
Yep, that was great. Thank you.
okay, so I want to also bring up the fact that we just lost someone last week. And some of you may not know, I know most of you know and have known Bella for decades, but I wanted to say something. She was with us a long time and produced an amazing body of work and was an important part of our community. And I know she will be missed by many. And I think that what we can take from this is just how significant it is for the community to be documented in this way, in a full view.
Hmm.
Bella.
What happened?
So does anyone want to speak to this, or do we jump in and everyone just start telling us what you've been up to? It's
Maybe Andre could
Well.
speak about Bella because she was with her till the very end.
What did you ask me, Mary?
I don't know, just if you could say a few words because you were really close to the family till the very end.
Yes, I used to read to Bella. She was pretty blind towards the end, but she could hear perfectly. And I would go and read to her every Monday and Friday. And it was something we both looked forward to because the last book we read was Alice in Wonderland. And well, we both loved it as children, but then we read it as adults to read the poetry. And then the last book we were reading together was Merlin Sheldrake's book about mushrooms. And she was loving it. So, and I am sitting Shiva by making a funerary, an urn for her ashes that her son and daughter-in-law asked me to make. So that's my way of seeing Shiva with Bella, because she was such a remarkable. Well, if you look online, it's absolutely incredible how many responses there are to people who find out that she has passed on. So she's a remarkable, my best friend, and a remarkable human being and a remarkable artist. What more can we say? She did it. And she said, I did everything I wanted to do.
Wonderful. Pamela, you
Oh, I wanted
were
to know,
missing-
do we just look up her name? Or how do we find the page with people's comments about her?
Just look online. Just
look online,
Bella
just Google her.
Just Google her
She's
name.
all over us. Yes.
Taba Feldman, and it shows a lot of her work, and it shows pictures of her at every age, with her and her first husband who died, and then of her next German boyfriend. And yeah, she was an amazing, remarkable person.
I just
And
pulled up,
Liz
I just
made a
pulled up the
beautiful-
page. If you
What?
want me to share it, I just pulled up the page.
Oh, good,
You'd
good
like to
idea.
see it?
Yeah,
That
do
would
Can
be
I-
lovely. Thank you, Elizabeth.
Hold on. Oh, you need to give me permission, Jan.
Right. I'm just looking.
It's a beautiful photo of her. Oh my gosh.
I'm not seeing where screen sharing is on my screen all of a sudden. I mean, on my computer all of a sudden. I don't know why it's not
Oh.
here.
You go to the preferences, I
I-
think.
Yeah, I just,
Or you can, I think, go to my name. Or I'll just, you know what? I can put it in chat. I'll put the URL for the Facebook page for now. And then when you
yeah, I don't know why it's
I just put it
not
in
here.
chat for everybody. And I think if you go to Zoom settings, share screen, which is the fourth button down in settings
Yeah,
on the left.
yeah,
Oh,
I
I'm
got it.
It's not coming up for me at all, and I don't know why, because it's usually at the bottom, and up on top, I don't have it in my pull down either. I
The
don't,
top, the
Yeah.
top menu next to the Apple symbol says Zoom US.
yeah,
If you do the drop down, it says settings, and then you get a window.
you know what? It's not up for me. I don't know
Okay.
why. I don't know
All
why.
right.
It's
But
very
no,
strange.
it's a really beautiful photo of her.
Ah, here it is now. It just appeared. Okay.
Oh. It's like, it
Here
does
goes.
that, I'll tell you.
All right. So wait a minute.
Oh, you want me to try to share? Oh, okay, never mind.
Okay, you should be able to share now.
Okay, thank
Well,
you.
Bella must be in our first book, is she?
Yes.
In our, yeah,
You know what you might look up when you want to find
Oh,
her?
there.
Can everyone
did.
see this okay?
Yeah, right.
Really nice.
Yeah, so she said we're planning a memorial rather than a formal funeral for my mom, Bella Feldman, on July 28th, probably at the Dome Studio in Oakland, where she worked on her art for almost 50 years. We'll share more when we know the time and details. And here's a photo. Oh, Steve Tabak. I think I know who that is. I didn't know they were cousins. He was the principal at a head of school where I taught once, at age 32. There she is at age 32. All right. Is that okay? Should we go back to our,
I
You
think
wanna
that's great. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Elizabeth.
wait. Didn't stop sharing.
If you look up,
There you go.
if you look up Bella's work and her history, one of my favorite photos of her is, gosh, I don't know what year it was in, but a whole bunch of artists, women artists, decided to pose nude. And she
Well, I'm gonna start like from my screen the way I see all the tiles with Lulu, who was the first one in on this to start sharing with us a little bit of what you've been up to, Lulu.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Nobody mentioned that Liz Scher made a movie about Bella.
yes.
So I don't know where you could find it. You could ask her.
Maybe
Uh,
from Liz's website.
Right, she'd have it. Yeah, it's really good. Well, I don't like being the first.
All right, we'll make you the last. I'm gonna start at the other end. Kim.
I'll
Got you looking up.
go first. I'll get it over with. Okay.
Oh.
Well, a lot's been happening finally at 81 years. I finally have a gallery in New York and one in San Francisco. And I'm having a show at George Adams Gallery in a mini retrospective in September. So I get to start the season with that show. And I was in the art fair, recent art fair. I had a painting. Shannon Trimble's booth was the first one you saw when you came in. So it was high visibility. I don't know what
And
else.
you're doing well. You're looking great.
Oh, yeah,
That's-
well, it's a little too, I liked the other camera better, but yeah.
And Pamela, how are you? How have you been?
I'm doing fine. It's certainly after that long, grueling winter, spring is certainly galloping ahead. But all that I can really say that I've done was I among some others in this group, Mary White being one of them, are part of a little show at Layla's. And I don't think we named it, did we, Mary? No.
Yeah,
Okay.
we did. We named it Five Voices.
Oh, okay, that's right.
Great. Thank you, Sasp. I forgot about that. Five Voices, and it's a nice show. It's as Layla's is. It's very very intimate. That's great. And the other thing is, day after tomorrow, I am going to I'm going to the beach in South Carolina, in Edisto, South Carolina, where I have met for the past 2 years with my oldest and dearest girlfriends. We all met when we were 15. And so I'm trying to, and all of us have our various and sundry ailments. So we've been warning each other what we can and can't do, who can't lift, who won't swim, that kind of thing. And so I'm looking forward to that. And let's see, I think, and more travel to see a niece in Sweden and Eric's family in England later in the summer. But that's it.
That's
you.
a lot of travel. That's great. That's great. And Priscilla, can you hear?
I can. I've been doing some looking through old work in not the work itself, but images and ephemera from way back in the 60s and early 70s, and sort of reliving that period. That's been a lot of fun. But there's a ton of stuff to go through, and I really am faced with, trying to organize it in some way that I can deal with it. One thing that happened really quite unexpectedly recently, that was challenging, but turned out to be a really good experience, was my sister, who was a very outgoing, verbal people person, liked by many people, became ill and passed away. I flew to Maine unexpectedly, and I was with them, with my family there and all those friends, and got back maybe a couple of weeks ago or so from that. And so now I have some, legal things that I need to work out. I'm trying to think about, how I want to set these things out. I guess, that's basically it. My travels were made possible by the decision that came to me to get a wheelchair. I asked for a wheelchair and my ticketing process, and I was able to just do everything very easily. It was a breeze, that travel part, and I recommend it to anybody who's considering it and wonder. It worked really well for me, and I think that's basically what I have to say right now. Thank you.
Sorry for your loss. I'm so
thank you. Thank you very much. It was a really good experience. It wasn't, a devastating kind of a thing.
Good.
Oh dear. Well, Elizabeth, do you want to chime in here now with some of the things you've been doing? Because you've been doing a lot. Ill or in good health. Elizabeth does not stop doing a lot.
It's been a very busy season, full of travel, unexpected and debilitating illness, and wonderful, amazing projects. It's such a mixed bag, but it's always humbling to have the stumbling blocks. And so it's been a pleasure working on this 90s edition of the Bay Area Women's Artists Legacy Project. It just gets better and better each iteration and new chapter, and I'm looking forward to the aughts. I'm fulfilling some personal dreams right now with some really wonderful curatorial projects, as I'm in my last year, I hope, of being exhibitions director of NCWCA. Actually, I thought this was, I thought I was done, but they told me I had one more year. So I formed a committee, and because we started increasing all the exhibition opportunities, and now I'm going to leave a committee of rotating curators, and it's too much for one person, but it's really increased exhibition communities for Bay Area women and non-binary artists. So it's been pretty exciting. And I know some of you have already shown interest in the project we have coming up called Access, and it opens June 15th at Art Gallery. They donated their space to us again this summer. And we're partnering with the Alice Paul Institute and the Susan B. Anthony House and Museum. And two of their representatives, the president of Susan B. Anthony House and Museum and the advocacy director of the Alice Paul Institute, will be part of our live panel. And they're having events on their side of the continent there. And of course, it focuses on over 100 years of trying to ratify the Equal Rights Amendment, but also on equal access and equity for any number of things. And it's going to be a really exciting and powerful exhibit and timely. And I'm just, working with all of you brings me so much joy, and I'm doing much, much better. It was just sort of a shock one day not to be able to get out of bed. And, but after many years of wondering what the hell was going on with me, we found out it was Lyme disease. And so I had sort of an eruption of it that manifested as lupus and severe Raynaud's. And I was not able to use my hands until recently. And, but small miracles, I'm okay. Thanks to a lot of chemistry. And I'm getting better every day. And it's just wonderful to see all your faces. And I enjoy every project I work on with you.
Well,
Same with you.
glad you've gotten into a better stage now. Sass, would you like to let us know what you've been up to?
I can't imagine, Elizabeth, what it might have felt like to be with not being able to use your hands.
Well, I highly suggest my Power Ranger gloves. Because this is the minute I walked into the rheumatologist's office, she said, "What are you using on your hands?" And I showed her my mittens, and she said, "Those are useless." And she had my husband order these heated gloves.
Huh.
Mm.
Yeah, and they work.
Oh yeah.
What do
Hot.
they do? What do they do?
Medium. Tepid. They work great.
I imagine
Well,
everyone with arthritis would be happy to have a pair.
Yeah, I think so.
What exactly do they do?
They heat.
Ah,
So
okay.
skiers use them, people with arthritis, Raynaud's phenomenon. Nice for us artists who work in cold studios.
right.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, thanks.
Yeah.
And I'm glad you're on the mend.
Yeah.
I've been working on a textile project for an exhibition that's happening in Ithaca, New York, sponsored by Kumi Korf, who's a very well-known printmaker. And she's of Japanese, and she sent us all 4 kimonos. And we were invited to interpret, reinterpret, whatever, anything we wanted and send it back to her. So I've been working on this textile project for a couple of months now, and I made a kimono with a big bunny on the back, or I altered this kimono with a big bunny on the back that came out really happy and nice. And on the inside, there's a very detailed kind of autobiographical stitchery with a lot of pins and personal artifacts on it. So I get to send that off. The exhibition opens in June in Ithaca. And other than that, I've been working with my New York dealer who is really interested in the work I've done in the 80s in photography. And he made a big sale to the Rochester Museum. And as he said, he put me in photographic history with that work. And he's coming out next week to see the rest of my work. So that takes a lot of preparation because I have a small studio, and suddenly you have to sort of make it possible for him to see everything. So
Wow.
and other than that, I'm just loving my garden and feeling a new wave of inspiration, I think, growing things. And it's not a new feeling for me, but I am surprised at how much sort of spring hit me this year, as if I needed that life again. And the regeneration, the feeling of regeneration has been so meaningful to me.
Sounds like wonderful work, and congratulations on the museum acquisition. That's really
Yes, thank you.
That's great. So we are going to be cut off again with the Zoom in less than a minute, as it's telling us. And then